Rich, but I came from the Nile Valley. It's bittersweet, I smile sadly. Truth rarely seen like child's daddies. I'm in Hotep, I style flashy. Regarded highly, I'm Selassie. As time is passing, tribes are clashing. I know the ledge, I grow my dreads. My queen's two open legs have golden eggs, I'm hatched. 9 months had to hold my breath. Now I dream so heavy that I broke the bed. Provoke the feds that slaughter the sons. 12 get the 4-5 like a quarter to 1. The war has begun. Latin for sun, the soul and melanites get more of the sun. We the fortunate one. Got the God in the womb and the Lord in my come, and no more means love. Death is the source that I'm from. Everything that they do, we have already done. Self-taught, my ice a melt salt. Mine high price, I write and sell thought. I felt cloth, Akhenaten, cotton shopping, aquaponic, chronic options. Botanizing pot concoction. Earth a thought, her twat is rotten. Knowledge of my art forgotten. Watch the conscious sovereign doctrine. Not dishonest prophet goblins. Boxing out the box, I'm boxed in. Black magic, black yoni, black phallus. How they turn kings and queens to crack addicts. How they make us lose our sight like bad glasses. They know we invented original mathematics. Black magic, treat home like at Sabbath. I can hear beautiful music and bad static. I attract cash in bags like that's Magnus. Last Maverick, blast fast like Zab Jab.
Peace, family. Welcome to another episode, Underground Railroad Productions. Want to welcome back the living legend himself, Professor Griff, man. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Peace, Brother Rich. It's a pleasure to be back on the show with you. Those life changes and those life situations got us, rocking and rolling, but we rolling with the punches, man. You understand what I'm saying? A couple of people ask you, like, yo, what happened to you, Brother Rich? Man, I said, nah, we still here. Y'all all right? We're like, yeah, we all right. We here.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend last weekend. Had the Black Power Awards, election in New York, a lot of running around from a lot of different people, so we just took the week off. But we back on top of the week. Professor Griff, before we start the show, you sent me a flyer. I want you to tell the people before we begin the show an event you got coming up. I think it's very important.
I'm glad you asked me that, Brother Rich, because I have learned and I've noticed, Brother Rich, that a lot of times when I plan lectures, you get the building, you pay the deposit, blah, blah, you get the people, blah, 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 and everything is cool. But by the time you get to the event, people got other things to do. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I said I was just going to start doing pop-up lectures. I'm just going to start planning it a week out. Whoever could come, because technology is moving so fast and different things are happening at different times. Like you said, hell with it, man. I'm just going to roll with the punches. Whoever can come, let them come. But I am going to actually, this weekend at the Helpful Essence, and the Helpful Essence is a beautiful place because it allows me to come in on Saturdays for 4 hours, do the thing. As long as the people are coming in and they're eating, whatever, we start charging at the door. We let people come in and just say, look, if y'all want to leave a donation, by all means, be my guest, leave a donation, whatever. We always got free ebooks and other things to give the people because we're truly trying to educate the people. But Brother Rich, the thing that I wanted to actually address with what's going on this particular weekend is very critical, man, simply because a lot of people don't understand the time in which we live. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a situation that needs to be addressed. Now, there's a lot of things that are happening in the world. Would you agree?
Indeed.
Different people take on different subjects at different times. The subjects that I take on, I just say to myself, I want to be able to be knowledgeable about the things that I'm kind of dealing with at the particular time I'm dealing with it. And I just think that's very real, and that's very, what's the term I'm looking for, Brother Rich? It's one of those kind of things where I'm not going to bite off more than I can chew.
Right,
so to speak. And I just think that's real. So with me not biting off more than I can chew, I think the subjects that we kind of look at that we can take on, I think it's a beautiful thing. So we made a song called Sock Mid, Social Media Digital Heroin. And I'm saying to myself, what are the effects? I kept going over in my mind because I see more and more people complaining about their girlfriend, their boyfriend, their family members, their children on their cell phones, and certain things happening to them. I'm like, what is the effect of the cell phone? What's the effect of social media? What is the effect of these things happening, and why is it happening to black people? So I went into the subject, kept notes on it, wrote notes, watched different things, cross-referenced, did all my research, and I said to myself, now's the time for me to put this subject down. So I'm going to be dealing with social media, digital heroin, this whole idea of this internet cocaine use, so to speak. Everybody's hooked on this internet, on social media. People can't get their face out of their phones. Everybody's getting the glow face, I call it. You understand what I'm saying? And so I just say to myself, I want to do a pop-up lecture. Let's deal with it. I've invited other people to come do lectures at the place. Nobody has stepped up. There's a lot of people here in Atlanta, and I don't see nobody stepping up to the plate. Contact me if you want to do a lecture there. Let's put it together. Let's make it happen. I'm not the only voice. There's other people that know this subject. I'm not even the best at speaking about this subject. I watched some TED Talks, some other people, some cross-referencing from different races of people, different surveys that they've done, different research that people have done. So I'm just going to lay it out the best way I know how. But I'm going to talk about social media, digital heroin, man, because I think people are hooked on social media, and it's actually dumbing people down. And I'm going to tie that back into hip-hop, and I'm going to tie that back into some other things.
Indeed, I think that's going to be dope. I think that's definitely needed at this time. Definitely needed, especially the young people, so they can see. Because this is something I don't know if 15 years ago we was prepared for this, and we didn't know it was going to be to this extent with the addiction to social media. So This is something that has affected the generation in the last 10 years since Facebook and everything popped up. So I think it's definitely needed, man. I look forward to it.
Oh, good thanks.
Yes, did you leave yes, you left the contact information. I have the flyer on the screen as I'm saying this as well.
Yeah, but people know to call me at 678-557-2919. If they want to vend, or if they want to come through, they want to speak, they want to do a poetry piece, whatever it is. I'm trying to make the Helpful Essence that portal, that place, that center point where if people are coming to Atlanta, they know that there's a lecture going on there. All right? At least once a month.
Right, indeed. So on that note, I want to move on to the show, Professor Griff. I was on my phone early and I seen a bunch of headlines talking about, you always see something about celebrities on social media, and I seen a headline that said Denzell Washington says the prison system is not to blame for crime in black communities. So I checked other newspapers as well to see if it was fake news or something like that, and it appears to be real. I've seen it on several different sites. The Daily News was in the Daily News today, so I was kind of surprised that it was all over the place. But I definitely need to get your take on this, Professor Griff. Number one, because we seen what just happened with Meek Mill, where he's kind of like shows the injustice of what's going on in the community, where he gets years for doing what he did, for breaking probation, but you got a white dude like Brock Turner that'll get 6 months for getting caught raping somebody, unconscious female. So we know about the injustices. We know we're talking about social media. Even Mark Zuckerberg said one of his favorite books is The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, which speaks about the injustice of the prison system. So I'm trying to wondering why Denzell will say what he said. Let me read exactly what I got here, Professor Griff, and then I would love to get your take on it. Denzell said it starts in the home. If the father's not in the home, the boy will find a father in the streets. I saw it in my generation and every generation before me and everyone since. If the streets raise you, then the judge becomes your mother and prison becomes your home. It starts with how you raise your children. If a young man doesn't have a father figure, he'll go find a father figure. So, I can't blame the system. It's unfortunate we make such easy work for them. So I'm going to end it there. But, I seen all the Fox News and Breitbart. They love stuff like this because, it lends to their narrative that institutional racism doesn't exist. So they'll make this front page of their website or their blog or whatever. But what I'm trying to figure out, is this one of the things where, they're desperate, the mainstream or the Breitbarts or the alt-writers, they're desperate to have something to say, look, we told you so. Is his words being taken out of context? How did you take what Denzell said, Professor Griff?
No, his words were definitely not taken out of context. But you read the answer, and you never read the question, Brother Rich. What was the question that they asked him in order for him to answer in such a way that he answered? And I think we need to know and understand that, and then give Denzell, like we should give anyone, a fair chance to be heard and understood. And we should be able to take it as Denzell Washington is giving it to us. Now, let me answer the question. Denzell Washington said it starts in the home. I beg to differ. The only reason why I beg to differ is because what starts in the home, Denzell? And I think that's the question that we need to ask ourselves and give an answer based on what Dr. Francis Griff Wilson gave us, based on what Neely Fuller Jr. gave us, based on what Barbara John Henry Clark gave us, based on what Dr. Amos Wilson gave us. So what is it that you're talking about starts in the home? If you're talking about what the elders are teaching us today, that this education starts in the home, I think he really truly needs to understand systematic racism. The racism that he's talking about, which is connected to the prison industrial complex, was talked about by Michelle Alexander, of course. Was talked about by Joy DeGruy, of course. So if Denzell would have read those two books and watched that information on DVD and watched that information on YouTube, then I think his answer would have been a whole lot different, because he is dealing with the effect and not the cause of the effect. So if you're talking about racism, systemic racism, then you have to follow the narrative that our open enemy gives us in reference to racism. No one's going to kick up dust and deny what Denzell Washington is saying is absolutely wrong, but you're dealing with the effect. What is the cause of what you're saying, Denzell Washington? Dr. Francis Cress Wilson laid that out. Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. basically said, if you do not understand racism, white supremacy, and how it works, Denzell Washington, everything that you think you understand will only confuse you. And I think the answer that he gave us sounds confusing, Brother Rich. It sounds confusing to the degree where you're talking about it starts in the home and you're not explaining what. You're talking about the idea of the fathers not being in the home. Well, why aren't the fathers in the home? Because of systemic racism. That's why the father is not in the home. And I think that's the point that he's leaving out. And that's a very real point that we need to make. We can't gloss over the fact that they're the reason why the father's not in the home in the first damn place. Would you not agree?
Indeed. You're raising some good points, yeah.
So if we understood that, so if Denzell Washington says blacks shouldn't blame the system for black incarceration. Well, Denzell Washington, we need to say to you, the system of incarceration and putting black people in slavery and in jail and in chains and in this kind of internment camps and this kind of situation was way before 2017, Denzell Washington. Way before we actually had the sense enough to put the family structure back together when they tore it apart, Denzell Washington. So we have to understand, he says it starts at the home. Washington told reporters at the New York premiere of his upcoming film, Roman J. Israel Esquire. In Washington's new film, he portrays Roman Israel, an ambitious defense attorney whose beliefs begin to be tested in the aftermath of joining a new law firm. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson talked about one of the 9 areas of people activity, which is law. It's education, economics, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war for the ultimate purpose of white genetic survival. Law is one of them. And then Dr. Amos Wilson came along and said, even if racism and white supremacy do not have these particular characters, Roman J. Esquire, Israel Esquires, they will create them. They will make these kind of characters. And you see them every single day, Brother Rich, the Don Lemons and the Paris and these other people, these talking heads. Racism and white supremacy will create and make these kind of Negroes. That's the best way I could lead off by answering that. It says it starts with how you raise your children. Well, they didn't even allow us to raise our children. They didn't.
Okay.
Women didn't have access to their own bodies. We couldn't marry one another. We couldn't own property after a while. And then they set up laws to make sure we couldn't do that. So what are you talking about, Denzell Washington? He says if a young man doesn't have a father figure, he'll go and find a father figure. Well, they didn't allow the black man to take care of his children during slavery. They just wanted more slaves. Am I right or wrong?
Indeed.
It's a system of racism, white supremacy. It's systemic. Go on, Brother Richard.
Do you think people like Denzell, or, we often get mad at certain things celebrities say, and it seems sometimes like it's people with money just have a different philosophy about life or a different way of living and going about life than people without money. Some people will bring class into the picture, say it goes beyond race, it's about class. What I want to ask you is people like Denzell and all the celebrities who, whether it's Serena Williams or Tiger Woods or Bill Cosby, he tried to, talk down to black people at one time saying we need to get it together. In order for them to get where they got, do you think they have a certain gene in them, a certain psychological edge where regardless of whatever's in their way, they're not going to let them stop them. So therefore, once they get where they want to be, they look back at us and they say to themselves, well, I did it, y'all could do it too. And because we don't have that psychological edge that they have, we just don't understand or we just can't relate to them. Do you think that plays a factor at all, if that is even a factor?
I don't think that's a factor. I think the way the system is set up, they're only allowing X amount of people to operate in that space. Notice if you look at where Denzell Washington is, there's not too many people operating in that space.
Right.
And they're not going to let too many black people in that space like that. And then even if one such as a Denzell Washington gets out of line in the place that they allow him to be, he's not going to be there long. And that's just real. That's just real. Ain't but about 5 people operating up in that space. That's number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, if you're operating in that space and you're threatening, then we'll have to neutralize you and check you. That's what the defense mechanism in racism, the system of racism, white supremacy does. It'll check you real quick. And I think Denzell Washington needs to understand that. But guess what? Denzell Washington already understands that. That's how come he's gotten so far. He's gotten to the level that he is right now. He understands it. This is why he said in the same article that he used to run the streets with them same dudes. They're doing decades in jail now. He used to do the same thing they do, but he just got away with it. And that's just real dynamics. Something woke him up and said, wait a minute, I don't need to be doing that. Mm-hmm. Let me take this other path. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I don't know if he understood it then that it's systemic. In the operation, in the 8 areas of people activity, and I would humbly say 10 areas of people activity, and we have to add on health and a few other things. All right, and what happened to him that made him change his mind and take another path is the same thing we needed afforded to all the young shorties coming up. Because maybe they need to hear what he heard at the age that he heard it, that changed his mind, that he took another path in life. That's all. And this is what we're trying to do. Reach them young shorties that maybe they'll hear something what we say and they'll take another path in life.
Why do you think he would choose a time like now to say something like that? Do you think he doesn't want people to, give up hope or something? Like, I don't understand why in the Trump era he would, in the alt-right era, why he would make a statement like that.
I call it the Colin Kaepernick effect. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are going to get affected by the Colin Kaepernick effect. So much so that they're going to be put in a position where their wives and cousins and uncles and close friends are going to ask them real subtly at the dinner party or the water cooler or just backstage somewhere, or whatever. So what do you think about this guy, Colin Kaepernick, and the NFL players, and blah, 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 blah. And then when you have to talk politics to your close friend or whatever, and you just can't dismiss them, you can't dismiss your wife. You understand what I'm saying? And then the real you tends to subtly come out, and we tend to know where you stand now. You understand what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people are just sick and tired, and it's a shift happening. Of course, you can feel it. I know I feel it. People are being more brash, more open. People are speaking about the things that are going on in America now, and it's no secret. It's really no secret, and people are they're being put in a position where they're having to speak on it. Especially, Brother Rich, when you have people that are making these films that are actually literally, having people think about the position that they've taken all their life. Because what happened to Mike Brown, that could easily happen to Denzell Washington's son. Am I right or wrong?
Indeed.
So he may be the next one in that position to do that. And I think he understands that. Because people are making films, Brother Rich. I don't care how crudely produced or whatever. Films like 13 are questioning people. You seen the movie 13?
I've seen part of it. I haven't finished seeing it.
Movies like Alpha 21 are questioning people. Movies like Goodbye Uncle Tom are questioning people. Of course, the Out of Darkness and the Hidden Color series are questioning people. You understand? They're having people questioning themselves. Like, damn. And then when you find on a daily basis, man, DNA tests are setting innocent people free because of systemic racism.
Right.
Locking black men down. Then even when Donald Trump is running his mouth, you tend to look back at people like Hillary Clinton. I think Susan Sarandon said, I read today, she said, what makes anybody think that Hillary Clinton would have been a better president? She'd probably been the same kind of character Donald Trump is. And that hit me like a ton of bricks because that's real, Brother Rich. That's real. And people are starting to rethink the whole idea of the vote now. And people are going back to DVDs and documentary films like The Vote Scam and other documentary films, which are now usurping these other Hollywood movies that are coming out. People say, man, I'd rather stay at home, watch Netflix, and educate myself on some things. You understand what I'm saying? To hell with that. And I just think that's a very real dynamic, man. It's a shift happening, and there's a shift taking place. And I think we're in the middle of it, and we're feeling it. And every time we see something like what Denzell Washington said, they're feeling it also, Brother Rich. Let me tell you something. The $40 million slave is not immune to this, man. They're not immune to it. They just not. We think they are, but they're not. You think they don't have discussions like this? They may not put it on YouTube, but
right.
But they have discussions. They have to because they have children and they have to live in this world, Brother Rich. And let's just look at it from that perspective.
A lot of people on the internet say, well, they understand the point Denzell's making, and he's halfway right, but there's a bigger picture to it. Similar to like you saying, he's not dealing with the cause, he's dealing with the effect. Do you think it's just one of these things that when we hear people, because they're celebrities, they're not, activists or anything like that. These are like movie stars and rappers. Do you think it's just one of those things where, they don't know how to articulate the English language in a certain way to fully explain themselves, so they end up having people saying, yeah, they're half right, but now other people saying, yeah, they're half wrong, but it was his intention, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to give him a pass. I'm trying. Is there anything that you would excuse this for, Professor Griff?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I think Denzell Washington, first of all, there's no excuse.
Right.
But I think Denzell Washington is a very smart and strategic man. I think Denzell Washington, like you, as a real black man in America, have come to know that white people will kill you. The Black Panther Party came together and they stood up for self-defense. And they stood for self-defense and they wanted justice. You understand what I'm saying? They trumped up charges on them and started eliminating them one by one, pitting them against one another, and they went out to destroy the Black Panther Party. And any other person that had a voice for black people, they put companies and organizations and fine-tuned racism and white supremacy to destroy those individuals. Denzell Washington is not stupid. In order for him to operate up in that space, yeah, he has to be able to play it smart and only say what he needs to say at the particular time he needs to say. It's a game that he has to play, man. Plain and simple. But I'm saying to you, for him to operate and be in the position that he's in, he must know something about racism and white supremacy in order to operate in one of the dirtiest, filthiest, nastiest, scandalous-ass industries known to man. And that's the film industry, the movie industry. Followed up by the music industry. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You see what Harvey Weinstein and the rest of these characters are going through. You understand what I'm saying? It's a very real dynamic that we're dealing with, man. They will shut him down in a heartbeat, man. They shut Arsenio Hall down. Like one day he was on, next day you never even heard of the dude. Right. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, after that Farrakhan interview, man.
Exactly. So Denzell Washington understands that. We should be looking at him like, you know something, bro? You got a point. And we see how you making your move. All right? But it almost seems like he's coming off like the Bill Cosby, how Bill Cosby came up when he was talking down at us. But I think he's saying it in the way he needs to say it. You understand what I'm saying? In order to get the point across.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Professor Griff, since we're talking about the the black family and missing fathers at home, not being at home with these black children, what percentage, Professor Griff, do you think it's because of the system removed the fathers versus, let's say, just dudes being deadbeat fathers, running up in something raw, shooting their load off, and just skipping town or just going off and starting another family? Because a lot of sisters might say, we get that whole, the welfare thing, but my father and this one father and that one father, they were just plain old deadbeats. So what percentage would you say it was because of the government when you say the fathers are missing?
Wow, it would be honest with you, Brother Rich, in order for me to even have that conversation with you, I would have to remind people of the stud on the plantation. He was made to go into the black woman, produce children, and not even care. That was his job. If he didn't do his job, he'd get lynched, castrated, or whatever. So if you make the black man go into the black woman, whomever she is, could be your aunt, your distant cousin, whoever, just to make more slaves. After 400 years of that, all right, that's a psychological trauma. So we're dealing with the psychological effects of slavery then, and we're dealing with it right now. So that's the basis of that. Now, to answer your question directly, the percentage of it, I would think the percentage is very high, Brother Rich. I'd say in the 75 to 80 percentile.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's high. I know people saying, I don't know if I can agree with you, Professor Griff. That's just my take on the 57 years, 57 rotations around the sun. I've been here 57 years, and even in my family, how many of my brothers have children by how many different women? Not that they were ever deadbeats, because they kept 2 or 3 jobs. They kept money. They took care of their children. Now, those brothers that just had babies and just bounced and never, that percentage is a lot lower, I think. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the whole idea of one man having children by multiple women, I think that percentage is a lot higher. The average brother is going out here, dropping load and then bouncing, never to see them children again, don't even claim them, whatever. Yeah, I definitely have to say 35 to 40 percentile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed. Now, what do you think about people whose paper ain't right, having children. Brothers who ain't got bread or nothing like that, and they going around impregnating several women, or they may want to practice polygamy, or, you know, they just want to, you know, build this big family, but their pockets ain't right. Is this family unit, is this something that as the young folks say, the bag got to be secured before you start the family? Or is that like a real Western European way of looking at building a family?
You know, I think it's both. I think Europeans have set that in motion because, you know, every family that, you know, I knew coming up when I was young, everybody had 8, 9, 10 people in the family. That was just the norm. What happened? Well, my mom had 13 children. Like what, and we never went hungry. So what happened, Brother Rich? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My dad passed away when I was 6. So you kind of figure she had 12 other children. All right, Dad not here. All right, she had to make do, and she had to do what she had to do, plain and simple. I'm just saying to you, well, what is it that happened? The fact that my mom is a real mom, she couldn't bail on us. You understand what I'm saying? My brother stepped up to the plate and made sure certain things were taken care of as older men, as older brothers in the home. You understand what I'm saying? My sisters did the same thing. So I'm thinking this whole European model of you having to have money before you decide to have a family. Well, I think that wasn't taught to us. Elijah Muhammad said there was 3 things that the devil wouldn't teach us. The devil wouldn't teach us the science of warfare, the science of mating, and the science of business. So this whole idea of coming through a rites of passage, the whole idea of going through a name ceremony when you're born, the whole idea of, like I said, coming through the rites of passage, the whole idea of learning how to meet someone and learning how to court and learning how to date and learning what family's about to bring the family structure back together, that needs to be taught because that's taught in the home. But since they did what they did to us, the father's not in the home, so that has to be taught someplace else. So subsequently, we got to set up classrooms outside of the home, instructional classrooms outside of the home to teach the science of business, to teach the science of warfare, to teach the science of mating. That needs to be taught. So subsequently now, we got big brother and big sister programs. We got mentoring programs, as they say. We shouldn't be using that term, but they have mentoring programs. They have JEGNA programs. They have rites of passage programs for young black African men. They have different programs now set up to the point where we know how to bring a man from boyhood to manhood. He has to go through manhood training. This is the beautiful thing about the FOI and the MGT, the Muslim Girl Training and the Fruit of Islam. All right? And this is what I would ask every organization to do. I don't care if it's the Hebrews, the RBGs, the Amin Ra Squad, whomever. You have to have a rights of program to bring boys from boyhood to manhood. Mm-hmm. And that's just a real dynamic. There's no other way around it. Plain and simple. Because we haven't been taught the science of mating. Plain and simple. I mean, our classroom was like on the streets. So mine was.
Right.
My older brother ain't sit me down and say, listen, man, yada, yada, yada. With the whole I'm talking about basic stuff. Who taught you how to put on a damn condom, Brother Rich? I'm not asking you that, but I'm just saying it's a question. That has to be taught unless you just get it from a porno flick or you get it from your homie. You understand what I'm saying? Or the chick is older and you get it from her as you're about to, throw down. I'm just saying these are real dynamics and real questions and real things that we have to answer if we're going to avoid what Denzell Washington is now talking about. So to that degree, he may be correct. It starts in the home. But if they broke the family up and we don't have a family structure, all right, then we have to understand that particular dynamic. It starts in the home. Who the hell is in the home? Where's it going to start at? Because can't no woman raise no man. You can't bring a woman, can't bring a man from boyhood to manhood. No, it's just not. No other people do that. Men sharpen men.
Right.
That's just real. That's just what it is.
Indeed, indeed. I got just for the brothers out there. Well, one last question for you, who and I definitely appreciate you dropping into the family like this, because we definitely need classes, man. We definitely need classes. What would you say to the brothers out there? By the time you're 25 or 28 or something like that, you're meeting people out here. The person you meet most likely will have a child of their own, and everybody got this thing called blended families, and everybody's blending their families together. What would you say to the brothers out there who don't want to get involved in raising another woman's child? That's some sucker-ish right there. You know what I'm saying? They ain't trying to take care of another dude's baby, because it went wrong for their uncle, it went wrong for their brother, so they not trying to hear none of that. So what would you say to the brothers that may feel like that, Professor Griff?
Well, we need to leave the woman alone then.
Right.
Plain and simple. I mean, I'm 57 years old. When I hooked up with Soleil, she already had children. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I already had children. That became our family. And it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She became the mother of my children. I'm the father of her children, plain and simple. And that's the role that we have to take, plain and simple, because when my mom passed away when I was 6, there was a few men that stepped up that I learned valuable lessons from, other than my brothers. They didn't take the place of my dad, but I learned valuable lessons from those men, and I love, honor, and respect those men, plain and simple, because, they did something that no other man did, because my dad passed on. Mm-hmm. So I have to look at it like, okay, well, if they want to be with my mom, then, that's a real dynamic, man. I come with a package, man. A lot of days, these sisters will tell a man from the rip, man, me and my daughter, it's a package deal, man. You got to deal with me. She's coming along with me. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. But a lot of men are not equipped to do that. They'd rather have the woman deal with them, with their baby mama issues, and that kind of thing, and the children that they have. And in some cases, the man having 2 or 3 children by 2 or 3 women, and women step up to the plate and become that mother figure to those children. But it seems like it's a double standard. Brothers have a hard time doing that, plain and simple, because in certain situations, you have to deal with every single one of those men that she had the children with, man. And that's just, this is where we are as a people. Right. And I'm not saying that we're the only people that's dealing with this, but it's to the point now where it's like, okay, well, and I said this years ago, whoever I meet, more than likely, they're going to have children. Am I that fatherly figure that I could step up to the plate and become the stepfather to those children? You understand what I'm saying? Some brothers are trying to do that and not even being a father to their own children, which is a hell of a dynamic, man. Right. Like, damn. So, Brother Rich, it's all about us becoming the people, and I'm not just saying this grandstanding. I'm saying it's real, Brother Rich. I'm becoming the man that the Creator created me to be. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And hopefully someone will listen to this and say, okay, yeah, let me get my manhood thing in place. Let me get my fatherhood thing in place. You understand what I'm saying? Let me join an organization and see if I can assist someone in helping some young cats out, so they don't have to go through the same thing, I went through. I don't need to go to jail in order to learn that, to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't need to get shot 9 times or be a famous rapper or whatever, a famous sports player in order to do that. Just for me, raising my 5, and then now hooking up and getting married to Soleil, and there's 4 coming along with her. Well, 1 is out of the house because she just got married. Now there's 3 other ones that I have to now start over again and take care of them and help rear them. You understand what I'm saying? yeah, when you're thinking about dealing with a woman who has children, yeah, you better get your manhood on. You better get your fatherhood on. And you better step up to the plate, man, and hang up the player card and all the rest of that stuff, because it's a real responsibility. You're responsible for lives. Every aspect of it. Feeding them, clothing them, protecting them, educating them, and being the example for them. They looking at me like, let me see how this man treats my mom, because that's going to be the example on how men treat them. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Wow, it's not even my mom's birthday, and he bringing flowers. Wow, they call each other king and queen in the home. Wow, they work out together. Wow, they doing music. Wow, they travel together. Wow, we ain't seen him in a couple of days. Well, I mean, where you been? Well, he's working. We need the time away from one another. You understand what I'm saying? When we come back together, it's like, come on, let's go hang out. Let's do whatever. You understand what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing because they see that. It's like, oh, man, wow. My dad came to pick me up, and my mom's husband is getting along with my dad. You understand what I'm saying? He came to my birthday party, and my dad and my mom's husband get along, and that's some grown man shit, man. You understand what I'm saying? That's some grown man shit, for real. And we have to kind of grow the hell up and stop being grown males and start being grown men and demonstrating to these young women, 15, 16, that they have to see this in 21 and 22 and 25 and say, oh, okay, wow. And even my children are like, okay, that's my dad, that's his wife. You understand what I'm saying? I see how he treat her. So my two sons come along like, oh, okay. Wow, I see how he treat her. That's a beautiful thing. Maybe I need to borrow some of those things that my dad do and treat my wife like that or my girlfriend like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Young people are watching, man. Children are watching. And they're going to go by what you do and not what you say. Mm. Now, am I saying that we don't argue, we don't do this, that, and the other, we don't have trials and tribulations? We have all of that. All right? But the one thing we don't do, it ain't no knockdown, drag-out arguments in front of the children. That's just stupid and crazy and non-productive, man. You understand what I'm saying? A disagreement is a disagreement. You'll move past a disagreement. But I'm not going to be able to move past a disagreement if I'm a no-good black-ass, no-good son of a whatever. You understand what I'm saying? That's just not going to happen. You understand? So even in the disagreement, we still treat each other like king and queen. And that's conflict resolution. That's something we have to learn. That's something we both learned in other relationships. So we came to the table and said, no, we went through that already. I've had the knockdown, drag-out arguments, cursing and all that. I don't need to do this in this situation. Especially 90% of the time, children are around. So, yeah, it does. That kind of situation don't even afford you to talk to your queen like that. Mm-hmm. So, brothers, if you're going to deal with a woman who has children, yeah, you better rethink it and know what you're taking on. Plain and simple.
Indeed. I hear you, Professor Griff. Again, I guess on that note, Professor Griff, we're going to close it out. Tell the people one more time about what you got coming up and how they could get in contact with you, my brother.
Well, of course, people know I'm doing the flash lectures here in the ATL at the Helpful Essence. I'm doing them once a month, or preferably on a Saturday. So y'all just got to stay in touch with me, 678-557-2919 to let y'all know what's happening with them. But Brother Rich, I implore people to join the study group. We study every single week. This is the 5th session we're having, man. We're dealing with body rights, menticide. You understand what I'm saying? Valuable foundation we're laying for the individuals that's participating in the study group, man. Every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock from 8 to 10. And we're building people, man. You understand what I'm saying? Those people are bringing more people. It's only $17 a month. You can go to www.professorgriff.me to join up, or you could go to www.paypal.me/Professor Griff Corporation. Pay the $17. Come on, see what it's about. All right? Build your library, build your knowledge, build yourself, so we can go out here and each one teach one. My number is 678-557-2919. I got to give a shout out to my man, DJ Nabs from Atlanta. We were in a film together, and we started talking, me, him, and Sleepy Brown. Remember Sleepy Brown?
Yeah.
Outcast was cool, yeah. Me, him, and Sleepy in the gym together. Nabs is training us. We back in the boxing gym, getting in shape, getting in tip-top shape. Shout out to Nabs, and shout out to Sleepy Brown, man. We up in the gym every week, because men sharpen men, steel sharpen steel, man. We making it happen, man. All right?
Indeed. And on that note, I'm going to have the information on the screen while Professor Griff is speaking. But on that note, this is Brother Rich, Underground Railroad. We are signing out, and we will see you next week, family. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, family. This is Brother Rich from UGR, urging all my viewers and subscribers to help support the channel by donating just $1 to the UGR PayPal account. We appreciate the viewership and support, and we understand the power of $1. If you benefit in any way, shape, or form, we ask that you donate $1, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, or yearly, so that we can build our brand to compete with the NBCs, the MTVs, and the Foxes of the world. I figure since Kanye could ask Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion, I can ask my subscribers to donate $1 so I can make the best possible content possible. The main objective of this channel is to inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. So hopefully throughout the years of you watching this program, you have been inspired to become the greatest version of yourself. If you would like to donate, you could go to www.paypal.com and send a donation to richandmerit7@yahoo.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your program.
Rich, but I came from the Nile Valley. It's bittersweet, I smile sadly. Truth rarely seen like child's daddies. Amen Hotep, I style flashy. Regarded highly, I'm Selassie. As time is passing, tribes are clashing. I know the ledge, I grow my dreads. My queen's two open legs have golden eggs, I'm hatched. 9 months had to hold my breath. Now I dream so heavy that I broke the bed. Provoke the feds that slaughter the sons. 12 get the 4-5 like a quarter to 1. The war has begun. Latin for sun, the soul and melanites get more of the sun. We the fortunate ones. Got the God in the womb and the Lord in my come, and no more means love. Death is the source that I'm from. Everything that they do, we have already done. Self-taught, my ice a melt salt. Mine high price, I write and sell thought. I felt cloth, I cannot in cotton shopping. Aquaponic, chronic options. Botanizing and pot concoction. Earth a thought, her twat is rotten. Knowledge of my art forgotten. Watch the conscious sovereign doctrine. Not dishonest prophet goblins. Boxing out the box, I'm boxed in. Black magic, black yoni, black phallus. How they turn kings and queens to crack addicts. How they make us lose our sight like bad glasses. They know we invented original mathematics. Black magic, treat home like at Sabbath. I can hear beautiful music and bad static. I attract cash in bags like that's Magnus. Last Maverick, blast fast like Zab Jack.